Hey y'all, Mr. JK here. Just obviously, for those of you that have seen me before, this is a new look here. Um, Decided to go with the scruff kind of mixed in with the shaved head. So basically, that's what you got. Um, so anyways, here's the rundown. It's well, actually, first off, shout out to um, John Pearson and and Todd and also Jacob Peterson, as they are the ones that got me started on this. Also, 100% unscripted, which means it leaves it open for human error. Just a little disclaimer there. Now, um, I also like to add Happy New Year to all you guys that are faithfully still watching this, and um, thanks. Anyways, um, it's been like one of those bumpy years, up and down type of deal, especially for the NFC side. Whereas we've been able to see one team become the most dominant team in the NFL over. They have been in the NFL, and then all of a sudden they started kind of going down a little bit as they were the last one remaining of the undefeateds, and spiraled down to where in week 17 they were in a dogfight of a challenge just to keep that number one seed in the NFC division. Uh, had week 17 went any different than it did, like one game different, had, let's say, the Seahawks beat the 49ers, well, um, the Packers would have had the home field advantage all the way through the playoffs. The Saints would have gotten a bye week. Seahawks would have had to play during the uh, this, yeah, it would have been the Seahawks that would have had to play during the wild card, but as a home field favorite in place of where the Saints are now. And the Niners would have been an underdog to the Philadelphia Eagles. However, by inches. By inches. And I'm glad it wasn't any worse than that. The Niners were able to pull off a win against the Seahawks, get first place locked in. The Seahawks slide down to where the Niners would have been at in fifth place. So now the Seahawks have to go in as underdogs against the Eagles. The Packers still get a bye, but they don't get a for sure home field advantage all the way through the playoffs, as the road to the Super Bowl on the NFC side is going to go through San Francisco now, at least until San Francisco gets taken down, which I don't see that they are. I think that they are going to be going to the Super Bowl, which means the game between the Saints and the Vikings is ultimately going to decide on where the winner between the Seahawks and the Eagles are going to end up. Either the winner between the Seahawks and the Eagles is going to end up playing up against the Niners or against the Packers. And that just determines on who ends up winning the game between the Saints the and the Vikings. If the Vikings win, the Vikings end up going to play the San Francisco 49ers, and the winner of the Philadelphia Seattle game will go on to play the Packers. If the Saints end up winning, then the Saints will go on to play the Packers, and the winner of the Philadelphia Seattle game will end up going on to play the Niners. And then on the AFC side, we saw the Patriots squander a bye for the first time ever as they lost against the Miami Dolphins. Kansas City Chiefs win their game against the Los Angeles Chargers, making them the number 2 seed. The Baltimore Ravens already had the number 1 seed all locked out, which means now the Patriots have to play in the wild card round up against the team that had to win to get in, the Tennessee Titans. That game right there is kind of like the Saints versus Vikings game on the NFC side, where whoever ends up winning between the Patriots and the Titans will actually determine the fate of the winner between the Houston Texans and the Buffalo Bills. All right. So it could be that the Patriots end up pulling off the win, just like everyone assumes they're going to. And that would mean that the Patriots go on to play the Chiefs, who they've been very good against in the past. And then that would make it to where the winner of the Texans and Bills go on to play the Ravens. If by chance, and this is what I'm hoping for, the Patriots lose up against the Titans, the Titans will go on to play up against the Ravens. And the winner between the Texans and the Bills will go on to play the Chiefs. And that is because the highest seed possible, the highest seed that's left out of the wild cards, will end up going to play up against the number 2 seed in the playoffs. The lowest seed remaining out of the wild card round will end up going to play up against the number 1 seed. That's the way the format is. It took me a while and actually my dad to kind of explain it to me as I was growing up to get it, because I actually really thought that the winner between 3 and 6 would go on to play number 2, and the winner between 4 and 5 would go on to play number 1 because of just the way other sports are set up. But it's not that way at all. So anyways, it's either going to be 3, 4, or 5 against the number 2 seed, which is the Texans, Bills, or wait, 3, 4, or 5. It's going to be the Patriots, Texans, or Bills up against the number 2 seed, the Chiefs, and then the lowest seed possible up against the number 1 seed, the Ravens, which is going to be either 4, 5, or 6, which is going to be um, the Texans, Bills, or Titans. So, and then in the that's AFC, and then in the NFC, it's going to end up being um, the Saints, um, Eagles, or Seahawks against the Packers, and then the Eagles, Seahawks, or Vikings against the going up against the San Francisco 49ers. All right. And like I said, the road in the NFC, the road to the Super Bowl is going to be going for now. It's going to be going through San Francisco. Yes. All right. I'm going to be cheering for that all the way. And the road to the Super Bowl in AFC for now is going through Baltimore. And I actually really do think it's going to be a rematch between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers for the Super Bowl. That's the way it's going to I really think that's the way it's going to be. I also really think that it's going to be um, a good possibility of a rematch of the Niners versus the Packers in the NFC divisional round, and it's going to be I'm going to say it's going to be the Ravens versus the Chiefs in the AFC divisional round. That is my picks, and that is all that I have for you right now. This is Mr. JK signing off.